What is up, fellow Hoops fans? Welcome back. This is another episode of the Last Shot NBA program, brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au. We're back here on another Monday morning, and as usual on a Monday morning, we are joined by Benyam Kidane from NBA Australia. BK, what is happening, mate?
I'm doing good, my man. How you traveling?
I'm doing good. Look, watched a lot of hoops over the weekend, as I'm sure you did as well. My Knicks had a good win, coming back over the Milwaukee Bucks. So I've got a big smile on my face, mate.
Hey, it's a good time to be a Knicks fan. They're making the Garden sound like a real NBA arena again.
Yeah, that's right. They are making it sound like a real NBA arena. Listen, when that place is rocking, there's no other place to be. And the Crown Prince of New York, Julius Randle, is playing really, really well. But we'll save that for another day. We've got a lot to get into, BK, as usual. We'll start with a little bit of Luka Doncic magic from yesterday. Hit an amazing buzzer beater. Dallas 6-3 on the season. Third in the West. Doncic is averaging 24, 8, and 7. How are we liking the Mavs this season, BK?
The audacity of that shot. I mean, they knew once the ball was inbounded, that was only going to one man, and he was only going to do one thing. And he did it over three defenders, easy. It looked like he was at a YMCA just messing around. Like, when you get to that level when the defense knows what you're going to do and you still do it, that's when you start to become a little special. And that's his second one this year. I think it's his third buzzer beater in his career for a game winner. So it's nuts what he's doing right now for the Mavs.
And the amazing thing is, like, you talked about the three defenders coming over, they played like perfect defense. Like, I don't think you could have defended that any better than what they did, and he still hit that shot.
Well, he ended up in the crowd. Like, they were all over him. Like, he fell out after knocking down that shot. Like, you have two decent defenders and then a help defender coming in off the corner, and it still doesn't matter. That's his spot there on the left wing. But the Mavs, they started a little slow. Obviously, Kristaps Porzingis back in the lineup after 5 games, and to be honest, whilst Doncic was the story from this game, I think Porzingis, 21-7. If he can play like this, he had a couple of nice buckets down the stretch. If this is the Porzingis the Mavs are getting this season, it's a whole different ballgame for them. Yeah,
I agree 100%. But the thing is, again, we go back to that if. I feel like there's too many ifs. He's had a lot of injuries. He's been inconsistent as well. Like, I watched him play in New York for, I can't remember how many seasons before he got traded, 3 seasons or something like that. And everyone kept talking about how special he is. And look, he is 7'3", and he can handle the ball, and he can shoot, and he can do a whole lot of things. But there's just that inconsistency there for me. And look, I don't think he can sort of carry a team, and being on the Mavs, he's not required to carry a team. Obviously, Luka's going to do the bulk of that sort of lifting. If he can be that consistent number 2 option, I like it. I like the Mavs team. As you go further down that roster, look, I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is a nice piece. Ntilikina's looked good. I thought he was...
Frankie Smokes.
He's bringing all the smoke. He's looked really good. I didn't think he was that kind of player when he was with New York, and maybe now that he's getting a chance to play, he can show that. I don't know if they're deep enough to go deep in the playoffs. What do you reckon?
I mean, I agree with you in that they do have some nice pieces. I really like Jalen Brunson. I think he's one of the most underrated guys in the league, but you're right, the depth probably is a bit of an issue for the Mavs, but I think moreover it's going to come down to the coaching. How does Jason Kidd get the best out of these guys? And why I was so I guess impressed with Porzingis was he wasn't just camped on the 3-point line spotting up. He was in the pick and roll, he was at the rim. Like, I'm gonna go a little old school here. If you're 7'3", get under the hoop. That's where you're gonna kill people. And we saw that last night. He had that dunk down the stretch to tie things up. So if they can get him in those positions where he can really take advantage of that size mismatch, because there's not many people that are going to stop a 7'3" guy that close to the rim.
You sounded a little bit like Shaq there, mate. I want Porzingis to get 25 rebounds. Get under the rim.
Every time I see you, I know you can shoot it. I know you can. And that's a good option. But you can't camp a guy like that on the 3-point line. If I'm 7'3", you wouldn't see me out of the paint.
Yeah, facts. Listen, you mentioned Jason Kidd. Just quickly on Kidd, I I'm not convinced on him as a coach. I do think he's great for point guards, though, and I think that's going to be great for Luka, moving forward. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. BK, let's touch a little bit on the Philadelphia 76ers and the Ben Simmons situation. They've started refining old mate Simmons again. So he got fined $360,000, which was his game salary for missing last Friday's game. $360,000 per game. I got to speak to the guys at Little Birdie TV and maybe get a raise because
it must be nice.
There's a bit of a discrepancy there. The Sixers feel he's not cooperating. I think they've asked to see because he's claiming he's obviously not mentally ready to come back. He's being seen specialists or therapists. I don't want to get the terms wrong there. And obviously mental health is not an issue to be, scoffed at or anything like that. But they've asked to see the results of his sessions, and he's refusing to give that up. So, look, the optics aren't good on this, BK. Is this situation going away anytime soon?
Well, see, I kind of look at it another way because he's getting help and seeing people through the NBA Players Association. So he's doing the right thing in terms of taking care of his mental health. I think what the 76ers want is they want Simmons to see their physicians and their therapists and that kind of thing. But if you're in a situation where you're in a standoff with the team, are you comfortable seeing a therapist that's on their payroll? I mean, where is the power imbalance there? So I completely get where Simmons is coming from. If he's trying to get help, I don't think you necessarily want to do that with someone that's being paid by the 76ers. So it's a tough one because they both want kind of different outcomes here. I was surprised that they fined him again, just given that he is kind of cooperating. He returned to practice. He's seeing a physician at the NBA PA. But yeah, I just don't know where this goes from here because it's a tough one.
It is a tough one. And look, just like before, I think that money is being placed into an escrow account. So I think, if he does come back and starts participating and I guess does what the Sixers want, he'll get that money back. Is my thinking correct there, BK?
I believe so. It is placed in an escrow, but I don't know if it's maybe when he gets traded that he gets that money back. I think that's what Rich Paul was banking on, but I'm not sure if that even is the case. But I think yeah, if he does sort of come back into the fold and everything's happy again, then he could recoup that money. But the way things are going, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the outcome.
The 76ers don't look like they're missing him on court at the moment. 8-2, best in the East. Joel Embiid is playing up to his MVP type form. What do you think of the 76ers without Simmons so far?
They've adapted. They've got guys stepping up. Seth Curry, obviously in the starting lineup, he's putting up around 17 a game. Tyrese Maxey, he started 10 games this season. He's putting up about 14. Then you go to the bench, you got guys like Furkan Korkmaz and Georges Niang. Like, they got shooters. So they're papering over the cracks just by getting everyone else to just chip in a little bit more while Embiid is still at his dominant self. I think he had 13 and 15 yesterday. So I think in terms of winning regular season games, they could probably be okay, for a stretch. They haven't necessarily played a ton of elite teams just yet. So that may kind of unravel when we see them play some serious competition. But for now, you've got to be pretty happy if you're the 76ers, just in terms of your other guys seizing this opportunity. And asking you, do you think this changes the 76ers outlook on a trade for Simmons? Are they kind of thinking, oh, well, hang on, we're actually still pretty good?
Yeah, no, I definitely think they're thinking like that. They have been without Tobias Harris, who was placed under the COVID health and safety protocols, I think for the last 3 games or something like that. And now Matisse Thybulle is also placed. So they're going to be into the health and safety protocols. So they're going to be without these 2 guys. I'm not sure how much longer Tobias is out for, but I think Matisse will be out for at least a week, I would imagine. How does that affect them, BK?
It's next man up. So I spoke about the depth on the bench. If you have shooters around Joel Embiid, you're a good chance to still stay in games because they have guys that can knock down shots. I think when they may come undone is when they come up against some of those top tier teams, when you are missing those extra ball handlers and extra creators, and especially a guy like Thybulle as well, who's been a wrecking ball on defense for them again this season. So I like the early signs. Shout out Doc. Getting that 1,000th win, like it's things are going well in Philly, but I'm not sold just yet, even though they are 8-2.
And shout out to Matisse as well. I'm making a move to have him installed as the Australian Minister for Defence. What do you reckon, BK?
We'd be the safest country on earth.
All right, BK, let's take a look at the Golden State Warriors. Like we spoke about them, I think, in the first show of the season. I was a little bit, I said they're going to win around 47 games. And given their 7-1 start, I may have to readjust my prediction for them. They smashed the Pelicans on the weekend, 126-85, tied with Utah for the best record in the West. They're looking like the dominant two-way team that they were during that championship run, aren't they?
And more importantly, they look like they're having fun. And that's kind of been the hallmark of the Golden State Warriors. When Steph's shooting those threes, shimmying on everyone, the bench is hyped. They look, honestly, a lot better than I thought they would. I thought they'd be good, but not this good this soon. I thought maybe when Klay Thompson came back, we'd kind of see that spike. But I think the biggest difference for them this season is they actually have a bench. You remember those strength in numbers teams, all those championship winning teams? They were all so deep. And you've got guys like Iguodala, Bjelica, and then even some of these young guys like Jordan Poole have all kind of stepped up. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And the thing is, they're doing all this without Klay and James Wiseman as well. So, that which is even more impressive for me. You mentioned Jordan Poole. He's been playing well. Wiggins is looking good. Guys are definitely stepping up. Steph Curry on the weekend said, look, it's 8 games in. There's a lot of season left. But the way that we're succeeding and the way we're kind of opening games up, just putting up good stretches of basketball, I'm not surprised at all. So you and I may be surprised, but Steph's definitely not.
And why wouldn't he be? He's the one running this operation, and he has every reason to be confident. Obviously, they're not at their full capacity right now. They've still got James Wiseman to come back, Klay Thompson to come back. Jonathan Kuminga has barely played. We've got Moses Moody, who hasn't been playing a ton, but they've still got a whole nother dimension to add to this team. Is this sustainable, you think, for the rest of the season?
Look, again, small sample size so far, 8 games, but like I said, I picked them to win 47 games. I think I may have to increase that now because I think it is sustainable, and I think I'm all aboard the Warriors. You mentioned Jonathan Kuminga. Yes, he hasn't played much. I think he's only played a few minutes in 3 games or something like that because he was out injured for a few games as well. But he's been playing down in the G League with the Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz, yeah. I always get those names mixed up. But he's looked good in that. And Steve Kerr said that he's liked what he's been doing down in the G League. So, when he does eventually start playing regular minutes, what do you see from Kuminga?
I like what I saw from him in the preseason. He's got an NBA ready frame right now for a rookie. He's not afraid of the physicality. He attacks the rim almost recklessly because he is so strong and he can get there. I think when you add another versatile forward into what they've kind of got going on, you kind of see they've got that everyone's 6'8", everyone's long, everyone can switch. And when you've got Draymond at the head of that defense, that works because you just have athletic long guys that can get out there and run and most importantly shoot it. So if he can knock down shots and get to the rim, like he's kind of already shown us, then I think he can definitely give them very good minutes off the bench alongside guys like Iggy and Bjelica.
And speaking of Draymond, I thought he, at the start of the season, again, I could very wrong on this one. I thought he was fully washed. I thought he was done, but he's actually leading the team in rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. And Steph's leading the team in points, obviously. BK, few games we want to take a look at before we get out of here today. There's some big matchups here. We've got the Bucks at the Wizards. Bucks coming off a pretty bad loss there, capitulation to the New York Knicks, but they are $1.90 favorites actually, which is surprising to me. The Washington Wizards $1.97. The line is at 1, and the total is at 11. BK, I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the Wizards on this one here. The Bucks are beat up. Middleton is out. Drew Holiday's back. Middleton's still out though. That's a big loss for them. They're not looking good. They're not healthy. I'm going with the Wizards today.
I don't think that's crazy. I like what I've seen from this Wizards team. Bradley Beal's been playing crazy good to start this season, and you're right. The Bucks are walking wounded, so I'm gonna go with the Wizards as well. I think the Bucks are. This could be a little bit of a trap game.
Yeah, I agree. Next game up, we've got The Rockets and the Warriors today, later this afternoon. The Golden State Warriors overwhelming favourites. I'm just not shocked at this because Houston is very, very bad. Golden State Warriors $1.12 favourites. Houston Rockets $7.25. The line's at 12 and the total's at 220. BK, I don't think we even need to ask each other. I think this is an easy one for the Golden State Warriors.
I think it's more, will they cover that line or not? And probably yes, given the way they spanked the Pelicans yesterday.
All right, next game up for today, we've got the Hornets and the Clippers. The Clippers, $1.41, Charlotte Hornets, $3.05. The line's at 6 and the total's at 224.5. BK, I'm going to have to go with the Clippers on this one too.
I'm a zag while you zig. I'm going with the Hornets. The Clippers have been good, but they've only really been good because Paul George is amazing. Everyone else hasn't really been hooping like that. So I'm gonna go with Miles Bridges and the young Hornets to cause an upset.
Paul George is amazing, and I think he is going to be the reason why they get that win today. Let's take a quick look at one game for tomorrow, BK. My Knicks at the 76ers. Who do you like in that one? You know what? I'm going with the upset on that. I actually think the Knicks might win in Philadelphia.
If you're going to go with your Knicks, I got to rock with my 76ers. This is the Tyrese Maxey era. Let's
go. No more Ben Simmons. It is the Tyrese Maxey era. All right, BK. That's it for today's show, mate. We'll let you get back to work. We'll see you on Friday morning. We'll be back on Wednesday morning with a very special guest. You can catch us live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 a.m. right here on Little Birdie TV. And we'll see you on Wednesday morning.